Welcome to episode number 4, where we dive into Caspar David Friedrich's masterpiece, Monk by the Sea. Many consider this one of Friedrich's greatest works and a highlight of any exhibition featuring his art. Last year, it was the signature piece of the Berlin show. When I visited the New York exhibition, however, I noticed that most people barely glanced at this painting before moving on to the next section. Please don't make that mistake. Let's spend at least 8 minutes here. Bear with me, I am sure you'll find the time well worth it. And if you have thoughts or feelings about the painting, I'd love for you to leave me a comment. Friedrich painted Monk by the Sea between 1808 and 1810. Yes, it really took him 3 years to complete. Later, I'll explain more about his process. For now, let's begin by contemplating the picture itself, as Friedrich intended. Most people believe that this picture is about meditation. Today, we think of meditation in the Buddhist sense, calming the mind for relaxation and enlightenment. But I doubt Friedrich would have used that word or agreed with that idea. Instead, he might have described the act as Sinneren, a northern dialect word from his time that doesn't quite translate into modern German or English. Closest equivalent is contemplation, letting your thoughts drift freely, touching on the big themes in life, whatever they may be. So, I invite you to do just that. Contemplate. Friedrich was known to stand for hours in deep thought. Research suggests the average person today can only focus for 47 seconds before reaching for their smartphone. So let's take this in smaller steps, 25-second intervals of focused contemplation. If you want to reflect for longer, feel free to pause during these moments. Let's begin. The first question to contemplate is, what do you see? Forget the title. Friedrich didn't name the painting himself. Let's take a few seconds to look and think. Ready? If not, feel free to pause the video. There's no right or wrong answer here. Some people say they see a big nothing. Here's what I see. First glance, I notice clouds, dark and dramatic. Interestingly, these only cover about 20% of the canvas. Most of the sky is made up of brighter clouds and even patches of blue. A storm is brewing, or perhaps fading, but it's hard to tell. Beneath the sky is a vast, dark sea with restless waves, and in the foreground, a sandy beach stretches out. It's definitely windy. First, the beach seems empty, but then I notice small patches of grass, which help hold the sand together and prevent it from being swept away by the wind. And standing alone in the foreground is a solitary figure, dressed in black. The figure is tiny compared to the vastness of the scene and not very detailed. Many believe it's a monk, though it could just as easily be an ordinary person in a long coat, lost in thought. Around the figure, I spot a few seagulls. They seem to be caught in the gusting winds, carried away by the storm. Maybe they want to warn the man of the upcoming danger? What do you think? Do you see anything I missed? Now let's move on. Take 25 seconds to reflect on this question. What is the monk thinking about? Ready? Or press pause to take more time. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here, just your imagination. Before I share my thoughts, let's reflect once more. This time, consider, what is the monk feeling? Great job. Ready? Or push pause. Now, before I dive into my interpretations of the painting, let me share some fascinating details about Friedrich's process. Friedrich worked on this painting for 3 years. From start, it was planned as part of a pair alongside Abbey in the Oakwood. I will talk about that painting in a second, but let's stay with the monk for now. In an earlier stage, Friedrich included large sailing ships, at least one arriving and one departing on the sea. However, he later painted over them, leaving the scene stark and empty. If you check the gallery's left wall, you'll see an X-ray image showing the outlines of the ships. If you look closely at the painting itself, you might even spot traces of them. Friedrich often used ships like those as symbols for the circle of life, the comings and goings of people, phases in your life, or even life itself. This becomes especially clear when you consider the companion piece, Abbey in the Oakwood. This painting depicts a funeral procession carrying a coffin through the ruins of a Gothic abbey. It is clearly on life and transcendence. Together, these paintings reflect on life, death, and eternity. Returning to the monk, I imagine he's thinking about life's biggest questions. Perhaps he's marveling at the power of nature or wondering how he, as a small and mortal being, can make a difference in the world. Maybe he's reflecting on his own life, its ups and downs, and thinking about how storms, both literal and metaphorical, come and go. Friedrich himself offered some profound insights into this painting. One of his remarks goes, "And even if you contemplated from morning to evening, from evening to sinking midnight, still you would not imagine, not conceive the unknowable beyond." Another reads, "You may leave deep footsteps in the sand, but a gentle wind will blow over them, and your traces will not be seen. Foolish are those who overestimate themselves in vanity." To me, these words, combined with the painting, offer a sense of peace. Storms, like the joys and crises of life, come and go. Nature and the cycle of life are far greater than we are. Doesn't matter if you're a monk, a CEO, or a president of a country. Does not matter if you are rich or poor. Nature and God, or whatever higher forces in the universe you believe in, will always be more powerful. This painting reminds me to live a meaningful life, to strive to be good, but not to overthink or struggle against forces beyond my control. Look at the blue sky at the top. After every storm, there's sunshine.
If you want to take a faster route, please turn right and enter the next section of this exhibition, called Alone Together.
Start with how Monk by the Sea was received during Friedrich's time. Reviews were mixed, as is often the case with revolutionary works. Some viewers felt unsettled by its emptiness, dismissing the painting as a big nothing. Others, however, praised its originality and its striking portrayal of nature's power. Heinrich von Kleist, a significant Romantic poet, famously remarked that the painting introduced a completely new way of seeing nature. He described it as, "It is as if your eyelids were cut away," meaning that the painting enabled him to see nature more clearly and expansively. He also commented that looking at the work was like gazing into nothingness, but he meant this positively, as if the emptiness allowed him to focus on the majesty of the scene. Ultimately, Monk by the Sea and its companion piece, Abbey in the Oakwood, were purchased by King Friedrich Wilhelm III of Prussia. This sale marked a major breakthrough for Friedrich, garnering widespread attention and sparking increased interest in his work. Although the king was typically not interested in art, he bought the paintings for his son, Prince Friedrich Wilhelm IV. Like Friedrich himself, the prince experienced profound loss early in life. He lost his mother at the age of 15 and struggled with grief and depressive thoughts afterward. Some accounts suggest that these paintings provided the prince with mental peace, easing his spirit and reinforcing his faith during difficult times. But remember, it is not the history that is important. The only important thing is what you feel when looking at this painting. There are many modern interpretations. I like that by American painter Mark Rothko. He painted abstract works featuring 2 or 3 vertical color blocks, and several of these pieces echo the colors found in Monk by the Sea. One of Rothko's works, housed in the University of Arizona's museum, exemplifies this connection. The museum's audio guide includes a surprising insight from a security guard, who revealed how he came to appreciate Rothko's art. Initially dismissing the painting as just 3 color stripes, the guard stood in front of the artwork until he could see nothing but the colors. And waited, and waited, and waited. Over time, the colors seemed to come alive, creating a transcendental moment of connection with himself, the painting, and the universe. From then on, he understood why Rothko's work was so revered. You can try a similar experience here. Either do at the large Rothko painting in Gallery 919 on the second floor, or with Friedrich's Monk by the Sea. Stand close to the painting, so close that you see nothing else, but don't come too close and trigger an alarm. Then let yourself wait. Wait until the scene starts to stir your thoughts and emotions. Possible, choose a side of the painting to avoid blocking others' view. Take your time and enjoy what happens. Once you've finished exploring Monk by the Sea, we can move on to some of the other paintings we skipped earlier. Let's start with the gray painting to the right, one of Friedrich's earliest surviving oil works. From there, we'll continue to a series of Gothic ruins, leading us to another groundbreaking topic side in Friedrich's art, looking at the pictures at the left-hand side, a cross in the mountains. Unfortunately, the long version of this audio guide is not yet finished. For now, please enjoy the remaining artworks in the gallery on your own. If you are looking forward to the long version, please subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comments. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode.